It's been a long week. And at the end of weeks like these, I just want to kick back, boot up my alpha world, and relax a little bit. So, welcome. Welcome to my alpha 1.1.2_01 world. I want to show you something. Check this out. This is a museum I made to showcase every single painting that's currently in this version of the game. The Zetterstrand Museum. I had a ton of fun building this. I just designed one room after the other, and I think it turned out really good. I really like that I was able to label every single painting with the name, the artist, and the date of birth, I guess. I don't know. It took a long time, but I'm not here to give you a tour. I might do a separate video one day that's just a complete tour of this thing. But at the moment, what I want to show you is in this garden area. Now, looks pretty normal, but over here, there's a little hole in the gravel. And obviously that's a little bit too short for the player to fit into, but what can fit in here is a little bit of water. So I'm going to place this, and then let's listen a little bit closely. Hear that click? Underneath this floor is something called a water sensor, and when activated by that water that we placed in the garden, it opens up these paintings. These iron doors behind here open up and allow us into this very secret room. I think that maybe one day it would be cool to have these open by two separate secret keys and open into different rooms, but at the moment they both go into this one. Let me show you a little bit of my method of how I accomplish this. Oop, this is the water sensor. Maybe you can tell what's happening. That water's flowing in from the garden and lifting up that boat, because in alpha, boats will float upwards through flowing water. That lifts it off these pressure plates and depowers these redstone lines, which then powers that redstone torch. Oh, you can't really see, but the door is right there. Pretty cool stuff. This kind of mechanism was originally, I think, showcased by Etho. I'm pretty sure he was the first one to do it, and I've used a version of that in this world. Now, I've got this huge building, but trouble is, what do I do with a room like this? What do I do in a secret room? And I would like to put a library back here, or at least the entrance to a secret underground library. I think that would be pretty cool to do, but there is a small issue when it comes to that. In alpha, books are craftable by only 3 pieces of paper. There is no leather necessary. And paper, of course, is craftable by using sugarcane. But our problem is this is a snow world. In this version of alpha, when you create a new world, it has a 1 in 4 chance of generating as a snow world. And it's not just right here that's snowy. It is the entire map. All water is frozen, all land is snowed over, and as you may have guessed, that pretty much makes it impossible for sugarcane to naturally generate, which poses a pretty big issue for me. I need sugarcane to have a sugarcane farm so I can make bookshelves. But there's no sugarcane to be found. If it generates, it'll generate next to ice and then die because ice can't support its life. However, it is possible to find sugarcane. It's just very rare. Certain, very specific conditions have to be met. And I'll explain those conditions in a moment. Alright, now we're approaching the center of the world station. So for this video, we're not going to do any building, we're not going to make any cool redstone mechanics or any crazy farms or anything like that. No hardcore challenges here. Today, all I want to do is chill out and explore my world. I want to look for sugarcane. That is the goal of this video. I just want to see more of this beautiful alpha world. And I mean, it is beautiful. Coming from a colorblind person, I love the colors. But I want to explore the rest of it. I want to try my very best to find sugarcane in this video so I can make a sugarcane farm, make the libraries that I want, and have access to a really cool new block, as the palette in alpha is quite limited. I don't really have many options. So that's what we're doing today. But I do need to do a little bit of prep. So I just grabbed some logs and some food from that base that we were just at. I also grabbed some string and some arrows. Now, I've never made a bow in this version, not yet, but there's a first time for everything, and I don't know what I'm doing incorrectly. Maybe this is backwards? Huh? Wait, it is backwards, just not in the way I was thinking. I do that all the time. Alright, here we go. There's our bow. Now, for those of you who may not be the most familiar with this version of the game, bows work a lot differently here than they do in modern Minecraft. Check this out. Right-clicking with a bow and having arrows in your inventory, obviously, instantly launches it forward. There is no drawback. You have no ability to control how far you want to shoot it. You can only angle up and down. And since it shoots instantly, you can do this. Pretty crazy. And you may also notice there's no durability on this thing. Now that I have this bow, I can use it as long as I have arrows. I never have to make one again. A little alpha quirk. Now they're probably not as powerful as modern day bows, but they will help keep me safe on this journey because I do not want to die out here. Especially if I find the sugarcane. Because there's one more thing about this version. There are no coordinates. No way to tell where I am when I die, and if I die there's no way for me to know how to get back. Except by memorizing the landscape. So we're not going to risk it. I'm going to take a lot of food and a little bit of wheat. And of course, we're going to wait for day. Now I'm going to ask you to turn your attention to this rough map of the world. Now, if we zoom in, we see that this right here, where I got my mouse, is 0, 0. Now this looks like land and water, but it's not really land and water. It's kind of confusing, but just ignore it. Now, the journey to find sugarcane won't be aimless. I'm going to head to a specific destination and hope that I find it along the way. And that is this bright red splotch right here. Now, that's a monolith. And this is also a monolith, and I've been to that one already. It's a lot bigger than this one. But this one's still pretty big. I've never been here either. I want to explore it. Now, this is a little bit of an alpha quirk. And if you want to know what a monolith is, you're just going to have to watch the video and see it for yourself, because I really don't know how to properly explain those things in a way that does it justice. Looks like we got a visitor while I was waiting. Sorry. So the direction to that big red splotch on the map is about that way. And I have plenty of coal. I'm going to try my very best to continuously mark my trail with torches. So just in case I could find my way back. Don't test me. So on the way there, we're just going to walk and talk. I'm going to tell you a little bit of trivia about Alpha, whatever's been on my mind recently, a little banter. So if you want to put this on in the background, I don't mind. Go right ahead. A lot of people do it anyways, and I think that's perfectly okay. Okay, we're coming up on a pretty big chunk border. Now, the reason there's a chunk border here is because the seed I used that I just plugged into that little map thing that I showed you is not the original seed of this world. Originally it's something completely different, but I wanted to have a world that had monoliths in it, and mine did not, so ooh, iron, I'm gonna go mine that real quick. Ooh, right there too, nice. I didn't have any monoliths in my world, I really wanted one. So I kept kind of generating seeds until I found one that had some big monoliths nearby. And actually, the red splotch that's more to the left on the map is the largest one I think I've ever seen in person or just out of anyone else's worlds. It's the largest one I've ever seen. That's why there's this weird chunk border, because this is basically generating a completely different world than what was originally here. But now that we're kind of past it, we shouldn't see this anymore. Now, let me tell you the secret of how we're going to find sugarcane in this world. As I said before, because of the snow everywhere, because of the ice everywhere, it's pretty much impossible. But sometimes it does generate on land and then dies. Sugarcane only grows on dirt and grass in Alpha. It doesn't grow on sand. So we need to be checking shorelines that have a lot of dirt, a lot of grass, and see if there are any items just floating on the ground. So there's nothing on that island. I want to make some progress going forward, so I'm not going to like circle everything. Plus, we have a time limit once we generate a new chunk. We could tell this chunk was just generated because the sapling's floating everywhere. In Alpha, when a tree first grows or generates in the world, a bunch of the leaves will fall off and break, and that's because leaf decay is totally broken. No way! What? It's right there. Man, this was short. I cannot believe this. What the heck? I can't believe it. It's right there. I did not expect this to happen so quickly. Wow, look, some of this is water. How did that happen? This must be a cave? I wonder how that generated as water. That is so strange. Water ponds don't exist in this version. I think I know. It looks like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like this area is all stone underneath here. Yeah, okay. Look at this spotty kind of terrain here. This is a small terrain feature that still exists to this day, called erosion. And that's just where the topsoil of the ground is just removed in kind of this weird manner. And I wonder if that has something to do with this water naturally generating in the snow world. I've never seen it happen. Wow. I can't believe we already got it. I was going to say there are two ways to find sugarcane. The one I just mentioned, obviously, but there's another way. If a tree were to generate hanging over a lake, there's no ice underneath it and there's no snow underneath it, sugarcane can generate there and not break. But I guess there's three ways it can generate, because erosion also seems to give it a small chance to form. That's so cool. All right, well, I'm still going to head to that monolith. I still want to find it. I still want to show you guys. It is really, truly epic. And I wouldn't be doing you guys service if I just talked about it without showing it. But I definitely hear spider spawner down here. Yep. All those spiders noises, whatever they're supposed to be. Yeah, it's interesting. Spiders don't make noise, not in real life. I wonder where Notch got the idea for the spider sounds that we hear in the game. Like, we're pretty used to them, but spiders don't. Ooh. That's the first time I found cat. And 2 saddles that are kind of useless. 3 wheat. What's over here? Huh, doing pretty good. I don't need these saplings, so I'm just going to toss these. The real treasure of this dungeon is the moss stone. There's no way to obtain moss stone in alpha except in dungeons like this. It can't be crafted, it can't be found naturally, except for here. So whenever you find one of these, you always have to dig up the floor and grab the moss stone, because it's the only way to get this block. And as I said before, the block palette is pretty limited. That's why we're on this journey to begin with. So far, we are doing great. I mean, I found sugarcane, and right next to the sugarcane, there was a spider spawner. I don't think I found a spider spawner in this version yet, so we're doing really good. I've gotten really lucky. That eases my mind quite a bit from all the stress I've been feeling lately, so pretty happy that I logged in today. What is that called? Serendipity? Is the term serendipity? I think that's correct. All right, looks like we got about 49 blocks of moss stone. It is just called moss stone in the game files, I believe. I really can't believe our luck. That's pretty awesome. But now I think I lost the torch trail. Yeah, I believe that we came from those trunk borders over there, so it shouldn't be too hard to find my way back, but I'm just gonna leave some over here that are obvious just in case. So I'm gonna keep going. Who knows what we might find? I might find some clay, which is also pretty rare, not as rare as sugarcane. I might even find more sugarcane. So I'm excited. That's a good omen. Let's just hope that when it turns night, I don't die. Right there again, look at that. Just over the hill is where we just found it. You can still see the chunk borders over there. How did this happen? This must be more erosion, but it's just happening in the water. Like completely, no land. Okay, that's interesting for a few reasons. Now obviously sugarcane is rare. I'm not denying that. Take it from me, I've explored so much of this world, I've never found it. So to find it 2 times in a row is pretty crazy. But I remember making a post on the r/Golden Age Minecraft subreddit asking people who had Alpha 112 snow worlds just like me how hard it was for them to originally find sugarcane. And a lot of them said they never found it before. You know, it took them hours of searching. And I thought, well, I'm probably gonna be pretty busy looking for this stuff. But as it turns out, nope. As soon as I tried to look for it, I found it. But now the sun is setting and this is gonna be a little bit dangerous. I'm pretty far from home. Here's some more unwarranted trivia about the game. There are no beds in this version. I cannot sleep. I cannot save my spawn point. So if I die, I go all the way back to the center of the world. That's why I'm so paranoid about it. And I definitely haven't been marking my torch trail properly. So that's another problem. It is probably too dark for you guys to even see. Check out some of this beautiful natural terrain I just found. There's like this naturally generating cove surrounded by mountains here. And in the center, there's this little flat island. I mean, look at this, isn't that cool? The terrain gen in this version is so whimsical, like compared to modern, it's very, I guess, tries to be realistic, and that's not a problem. But something to be said about this being a fantasy game and having fantasy terrain, you know what I mean? You know, I actually think that this would be a good spot for an outpost. So let's do that. This is another thing I like doing in old Minecraft. Whenever I go exploring, I love to just create little forts here and there on my way. And then if I ever come back, because it's unlikely I'm going to tread by the same spot 2 times in a row when I'm exploring this far away. But if I ever find it, it's like, oh wow, I can't believe I built that. You know, like it's kind of like a little treat. So I think that's pretty cool. I'm already breaking my promise not to build in this video. Sorry to disappoint. There we go, we have our little hut right here on the water, and a nice spot for it too. Again, you guys probably can't see it very well, so we're gonna wait till the morning. So when the moon goes down, you'll be able to see how cool this spot really is. I'd say for right now, I'm going to leave a few things in this chest. I'm going to leave a saddle, I'm going to leave some food here just in case I happen to stop by in the future. These mob drops I don't need to be bringing with me. And I'm going to put one sugarcane. Worst comes to worst, I can come back here and grab this one. Okay, I got a little bit carried away and I decorated this place a little bit more. I think it looks pretty charming. Nothing fancy, but I think it's cute, so I'm keeping it. But yeah, look at this terrain. Got this U-shaped little mountain area. Oh, we have a visitor. Check that out, this cave. Huh. Should I go down there? I think I should. Oh. There's a creeper down there. Oh. Oh, watch out. I wonder if I gotta shoot that creeper again. Oh, it did shoot that creeper. Look at that. Another music disc. Good thing I got this bow, huh? Boom. Just like that. Boom. Check this out. We got a lot more arrows, although probably not as many as we spent. We got another music disc. The same one, of course, but because there are only 2 music discs in this version, there's Cat and 13. That's all that was added at this point in time. And we got a lot more iron. And iron is, you know, pretty useful in this version. I don't use it for tools. Maybe you've noticed. Oh, I should probably stop talking. Okay. I don't use it for tools. That's just because tool durability is way lower than it is in modern. A stone tool only can break 65 blocks. An iron tool can do a little more than that, but I just don't find it to be worth it to make them, because if you were to go caving and use iron tools, you'd walk out with less iron than you walked in with because you'd have to keep replenishing. So I use iron for decoration, and I use it to make rail systems. Rails are the most important thing in this version. I should probably turn around before I get too ahead of myself, but let me get this one more. Oh, hey, look. There's sand right there. Let's try it. Huh. How about that? No, I was expecting water to be on top of this. Well, we got another music disc, and we got a lot more iron just from that little caving trip. Serendipity's hitting full force. I'm pretty sure I'm using that word correctly. Hey look, this is one of those conditions that I said would be possible to find sugarcane in. A tree generating over ice. No sugarcane here, but this is kind of what I was talking about earlier. You know, alpha terrain is always pretty cool. These views that we're getting are pretty nice. I guess let me tell you a little bit about why I had a long week. So I'm a film student, and this is my last semester before I graduate. But not only is it my last semester, it is my last month. And a lot of people telling me like, oh, you know, your last month, your last semester, things should be winding down for you, you know. That's not the case at all. It's cranking up hard. So over the last weekend, I had to be a part of 2 separate film productions. They're both a lot of fun, and some of them even had professional actors. On one of them, I'm the editor and the animator, and we totally failed in the sound department. I mean, the audio was peaking the whole time. I tried to bring this to the director's attention, but we were in such a time crunch that we just couldn't bother to fix it. And that really is gonna bite us in the butt later down the line, but we only had a little bit of time with our actor because, ooh, clay. I was hoping to find some clay. But yeah, we only had a little bit of time with our actor because they didn't like the commute. Talent is going to be the way that it is. So because of this, I have kind of the large task of trying to fix the audio, which is in some parts completely unusable. But yeah, the audio sounds terrible. It's very scratchy. It peaks all the time. And I may have to get the actors to dub it over, and I really don't want to do that. It's stressing me out a little bit. It's probably something I'm going to have to do, and I'm also the audio engineer on the other film project. Not only that, but I also have a final project I have to complete for my animation class. I have to animate something. And I have an industry research project where I have to basically get ready for the working world, and that's a whole other thing. Will I be able to get a job as a video editor? I don't know. Honestly, right now with, this channel, I love doing this. I really love doing this. It's the thing I look forward to doing every week, is making a video. I don't stress too much about it, and I get to relax and just play the game and share it with everybody, and I'm pretty lucky to be able to do that. I never thought that so many people would be interested in my world, and now that everyone is interested, I found that I enjoy making videos on it even more. I mean, it's just compounded. So don't expect the videos to stop anytime soon, but I need to think about, of course, getting a job. I spent every last dime that I have on my tuition this year. I have no more money left. I'm pretty much completely broke. That's just the name of the game, but I need to be getting a job, and of course everybody needs a job, right? Everybody wants a job, but I'm in a little bit more of a bind, and that is because I need to get a job in the place that I want to move to. It's out of the country. I'm trying to move to Canada, and I can't move to Canada unless I get a work visa. So I have to find a job in Canada. Not only Canada, but Quebec, which also requires you to speak French, and I don't. So I have to learn French. So my plate is shaping up to look like this. I have to fix my thesis film, edit the thesis film, finish the animation, finish the industry research project, finish the other end of year film. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention the exams for my history class that I have to do. I gotta create a show reel so I can start applying to jobs. I have to actually apply to those jobs. I have to secure a visa for myself, and I have to learn French. And wait a minute. Do you guys see that? We almost missed it. Oh my goodness. I almost walked right by it. All right, enough belly aching about how busy I am. Wow, that is huge. Hold on, it's still nighttime, and you guys probably can't see what we're looking at here. I'll wait until morning, and then I'll show you what I'm looking at. Oh man, I was just crafting some ladders, and this spider jockey showed up. Oh, this could be terrible. Oh no. Get out of here. Phew. Dang. I think it really took me down a notch. Sorry for that abrupt cut. I was trying to craft some ladders so I can get up on top of that monolith there. I guess you guys probably want to see what I'm talking about. Alright. Take a look at this, okay? It's possible you may have seen nothing like this. So you might know the Far Lands, a crazy tall generation that looks like Swiss cheese at the end of the world. This is, I don't want to say it's similar, but it reminds me of it. It's reminiscent. It's these huge walls that stretch up all the way to Y128, and they generate all blocky like this, and huge blobs. I mean, sometimes you get small ones, but this is an exceptionally big one. It's huge. It'll probably take me like 20 minutes to walk around the entire thing, just from the looks of it alone. Okay, so there are a lot of really cool features to monoliths. Before we get the ladders and go on top, which I'm sure I have more than enough to do that, let's take a look underneath here. You're about to see something really weird. Can you even tell what we're looking at here? Maybe, maybe not. Let me make a better staircase than this. All right. We are underneath the monolith. So basically, this entire thing, this massive piece of land has been shifted up from the normal terrain that it's in, all the way so it reaches the top of the world, and it leaves this gigantic gap underneath. And this entire thing under here is full of water. And not only water, but look, can you see those little blue spots? Those are holes into the void. It generates tons and tons of holes in bedrock. This is very, very deep. I can't swim to the bottom without dying. Underneath here, you can probably really get a sense of scale of how big this thing actually is. It is massive. Nowhere else in an alpha world will you ever get a view like this. It's crazy. All these little blobs everywhere are gravel that's fallen from the ceiling. Look, there's another little exit over there. Let's exit over that side. I'm gonna run out of ways to talk about how awesome this is. This was removed, I think, in the very next version. I mean, just, isn't that so cool? Doesn't this look so eerie? There's nothing really like this in modern Minecraft. And it's a shame that it went away, but it is a bug that causes this. I think Ant Venom did a video on these a long time ago. Sometimes you can find dungeons that spawn around here, the edges, because it's all like underground but also open air. But I haven't seen one. Alright, this is, I think, kind of the other side. We finally walked all the way across. I think we started over there. So let's get out of here. Okay, here we are on the other side. You know, I've never gone in one of these caves that generate in the side of the monolith. I wonder what they're like. I am pretty sure that despite this looking like a big chunk of land has been lifted out of the ground, that diamonds don't spawn like at the bottom of this. The ores haven't moved up with it. I think they generate after the monolith generates. Alright, well, let's get up to the top of this thing. You guys probably want to see what it looks like from up there. So, let's go. Oh yeah, by the way, in Alpha you can do this bug where you place ladders a block apart from each other and you'll still be able to climb it, just because the player's hitbox is 2 blocks tall, and Minecraft wasn't that complicated back then. If you were touching a ladder, that was good enough to climb something. Some of you might remember that. Alright, here we are, the very top of the monolith. This is equally crazy to look at because it's just completely flat. Only flat terrain up here. That's like quite the screenshot. I'm going to take a screenshot of that. That just looks really cool to me. So this monolith is going to generate, let me take a drink of water, a little differently than monoliths normally generate. And that is only because I have a height extension mod. So that extends the build height from 128 to 256. Dang, look at that. That's a bit of a drop. And that doesn't change world generation at all, except that when the game goes to place foliage all over the world, it'll also place it here because there's actually space for it to generate. All right, now we're at the other side of this thing, and you know what? I don't quite remember where we came from. Maybe we came from this side over here? Probably, right? I'm gonna get lost, I swear. Yeah. Look down there, that's the little staircase that I made to get into this place. And that means that over there, like right over there, that's when I spotted the monolith and headed over. Okay, it's getting dark up here. But yeah, man, isn't this thing just huge? And the sunset up here is really something to look at too. All right, home is basically in this direction, so let's get off of here. I don't know for sure how I'm gonna do this in a safe way, like make ladders down. So I'm gonna do that next to these waterfalls so I don't die. I feel like I'm gonna die. Okay. We're doing good. This is really quite dangerous. Oh god, okay. Whew. Hey, we did it. I don't know if that'll be easy to climb back up, but we did it. I'd really like you guys to be able to see what I'm looking at right now. It's nighttime, so if you're watching this and you want to look, I suggest you squint, but if not, I'll turn up the brightness and contrast so it might be a little easier for you guys to see. All right, now we are going to head back, and hopefully we can find our way. I'm pretty confident, though. I feel like I know where I'm going. Right now, I am drinking a Oreo milkshake. Normally I drink tea, but right now I got an Oreo milkshake. I used to drink these things when I was a kid. I haven't had one in actually a very, very long time. But I remember when I was a kid, my, Oh man, goodness gracious, we are really in for it. Oh no. Hey, stop. Don't do that. Good thing I packed a lot of food, huh? Hey, look. Oh. That was weird. Okay. Thank goodness the sun's coming up soon. But yeah, look, there's one of our torches, so yeah, we are on the right track. Yeah, my mother, when I was a kid, used to be a waitress, and I would just get dropped off at the restaurant she worked at. Sometimes, you know, I'd be lucky and I'd get an Oreo milkshake. This is like my favorite dessert when I was a kid. And I'm still a milkshake enjoyer. If I ever go to an ice cream place, I ask for a milkshake instead. I don't know, something about the texture. I just like it. And I like the fact that I can drink it and it won't drip on me, I guess. I don't really consume a lot of sweets these days, but I guess today is an exception. Now what's interesting about Alpha Minecraft is there's not really a big reason to explore, unless you're trying to look for some cool terrain and stuff. Because there's no beds, you kind of want to stick near your world spawn. You don't really need to go anywhere else. And if you do go exploring while the world is infinite, and maybe you can find some really cool spots, there's like nothing to look for. Monoliths, of course, are the exception, but that's a bug. The only generated structure in the game is the dungeon. There's no villages or other things to look for, and being 100% honest, I am okay with that. It makes the world feel like very empty and very lonely, but in kind of an intriguing kind of way. You know what I mean? Like, I am the only person in this entire world. There's no one else. No matter where I go, no matter how far I roam, that I will never find anyone else. I will be all alone. There'll be no sign of other human activity. And it's a little bit lonely. It's kind of creepy sometimes, but it really makes the vibe of Alpha for me. I think it makes the vibe for a lot of other people too. We're gonna see if I can find some clay here. We get lucky? Nope. Sometimes I wonder what it would be like if I lived in the game. I don't mean sometimes. I've thought about this quite a few times throughout my life. Like, what if I was in the game, like the game was real? Not like the upcoming Minecraft movie. I just mean like if I was the player in the game. If I was a player in the game and everything was real, then what would it be like? Would I just go crazy? The whole world would basically be my oyster, but maybe I'd go insane from lack of human contact. I thought about that a lot, especially when I was a kid. It was kind of like a little form of escapism to me. I used to read little Minecraft novels that were at my library about a guy that was transported to the world of the game, Tron style. He was zapped by the digitizer from Tron. I mean, that's basically what it was. And he was put into the game, and it turns out the villagers had a prophecy about him coming, and they had their own history of the world. It actually went really in depth, and as a kid, it was kind of a great book. And it took some liberties with the source material of the game, but what the heck? That just happened again. Nowadays, if I read something like that, I probably wouldn't find it interesting. But when I was a kid, that stuff was awesome. It was, I think, called the Game Night 9999 series. So maybe some of you recognize that name. It was about this kid. He gets transported to the game and he's stuck there. And there's this evil Enderman that's summoning all the mobs, and he wants to take the mobs to the real world and conquer the real world using the same method that the kid got transported to the game. And there's even character development because the kid, prior to being put into the game, was a griefer and kind of like a bully. Like, we open with him just kind of like bullying other players because, I don't know, he thinks they're not good enough to play the game. It's a little bit childish, right? But he goes through a little bit of character development. He manages to get a bunch of other players on his side and, tell him that he's changed and learn that there are consequences to his actions. When he punches a villager, the villager really feels it and it hurts its feelings. That kind of stuff. I think, you know what, now that I think about it, the book opens with him just like going to a random village in his world and just murdering like a lot of the villagers. And then later he gets transported into the game and the villagers are there, but they can talk to him and they have their own history and their own lives. And they tell him like, hey, you murdered my wife. You murdered my wife, you murdered my kids, man, what the hell? That's a bit heavy, don't you think? I mean, because he eventually is like the best friend, like they become all his friends, they all fight together to defeat the evil Enderman guy. I forgot about that. He murdered like so many of them, their wives, their kids, and they just all forgave him? That's crazy to me, I don't know. Maybe I'm not remembering that. Am I remembering that correct? I don't know. The book was written by the father of a kid who loved the game so much that on the kid's birthday, he bought him a server. And like he had all the stuff on the server, he had all these cool builds, whatever. And then one day some hackers got in, or maybe some people just got into his server and they griefed the whole thing and uploaded the grief to YouTube. And maybe it's still up. I never looked it up myself. Back then, I guess either he didn't think to have a plugin or that kind of stuff just wasn't as widely used. So his world was destroyed and, he was heartbroken, and the father decided to write the books that I am describing to you based off of that experience. About a bully who realizes that there are consequences to his bullying and that kind of stuff. I am so lost right now. But there's a chunk border. Oh, hey, look, there's some torches right there. Huh. Whoop. Yeah, there are some torches right there. I think I overshot a little bit. I think I went a little too far to the right, because this torch trail is to the other monolith, the one that was to like the left on the map that I showed off. That's to the other monolith. And oh, hey, you know what? Can you see that? There's clay right there. I'm gonna grab it in a minute. Check it out. There's a little bell tower over there. All right, it's dark now, but I grabbed all that clay and I ran out of room in my inventory to store it, but luckily, Alpha has this little feature where you can keep items in your crafting grid, and I don't have to worry about losing them. Oop, we got a visitor. I marked this little torch trail to monolith. But yeah, here is the tree farm here. I've been working on this little structure here lately for a future pretty big build. I've been planning it out, and I'm pretty excited about it. But I'm not really worried about that right now, so we're just going to drop off all this stuff that I got. Hopefully I can fit it where I need to fit it. I'm gonna keep this one disc on me. I'm gonna keep one sugarcane here just in case I lose it. All right, yeah, I guess I should go plant this stuff. Like actually put it in the ground. I can't wait to start building with bookshelves. I've really kind of been missing it. There's so many things you can do with that block, besides even just make libraries. It is really interesting that in this stage of the game, they made a block like that is purely decorative. I don't know if there's any other block that is purely decorative. I think most blocks have a use. You could say stairs are decorative, but really they have a use to move you from one block to the other without jumping. Same with slabs. Slabs were added first, I think. Are there any solely decorative blocks? I don't think so. I mean, I think every block is used in one way or another. I guess stone. No, you mine stone. You mine stone in the ground to get cobblestone and to go strip mining and caving. Yeah, bookshelf does nothing except look pretty. I guess besides flowers, which I don't even think flowers count because they're a natural feature of, like, just nature has flowers. All right. This will be the first time listening to this disc. I haven't listened to this yet in this world. So now we have both types of music discs. Here we go. Alright, I got some of the stuff planted. I kind of just want to have it all over the place so I just never lose it. Music's coming across pretty nice. Alright, so I decided to go ahead and kind of concept a layout for a sugarcane farm. And this is the layout so far, and I went and placed all the water in this really specific combination, in this really specific layout that allows you, ooh, look, my tree grew. It allows the most sugarcane placement possible, so I can do it pretty easy. Sugarcane grows real fast in these old versions, so I'm not worried about filling this whole thing up, but right now I am just gonna fill this up. I don't know if I have enough blocks to do it, but we're gonna try, and hopefully it goes well. Beep, beep, beep. By the way, the music you're listening to right now is actually by a fan named Shelby, and I guess it's meant to evoke the feelings that she gets when she watches my videos, and I like it. It's pretty neat. So I'm gonna be quiet for a little bit and let it play so you guys can get a good listen. You know, I brought up the game night book a little bit ago, and I didn't really get to my point. My point was that when I was a kid, I used to kind of like fantasize about being in the game as like a, I don't know, like a little bit of escapism, I guess, but also just fantasy, because I was just a kid, right? I would think about what it was like to live in a game, and I guess I drew from that book a little bit. I even used to make comics and stuff about people who got transported into Minecraft when I was little. I wrote little stories and stuff about how, like, a character who is a normal guy gets transported to Minecraft, or a dude who already lives in the game. There's this one that I have somewhere around my room that I made when I was in middle school, okay? And it's about this guy who, I think his name is literally Alex, and he's friends with Notch. And Notch, like, is doing a presentation for some reason, and he has the thing from the little digitizer from Tron, and he shoots his friend Alex with it and then puts him in the game of Minecraft. And at this time, I had never once played Java Edition. I had only ever played Pocket Edition. I really wanted to try Java Edition, but I didn't have a computer to try it on. So I just wrote about it. Like, I thought I would just, I would write about Java Edition, and it was pretty cool. But I got a lot of things wrong. Anyway, this guy, he goes on mishaps and adventures, and he tries to get around the world until he runs into Steve, who's been there for a long time. And he kind of shows Alex the ropes, and, like, I don't know, it's just kind of cringy. I have it somewhere. Maybe I'll show it off one day. I never thought I would do that, but I had other stuff, other bits of literature that I had made, or stories that I made. When Minecraft Story Mode came out, I loved it. Not because it was a good game, because looking back, it was not. But because it was, I mean, what's the term? Like wish fulfillment? It kind of like let me imagine what it would be like to have like a bunch of Minecraft characters, how they would act, like if it was real, what it would like to be in a living Minecraft world with history and other people in it. And I just thought that was just the coolest damn thing. Sue me for being cringy, because I certainly am, but I thought that was awesome. I don't even know how I got on this conversation topic to begin with. I guess it was a while ago, right? But yeah, I used to pretend that I was in a game or think about what it would be like to live in the world of Minecraft, you know? A little cringy, true, but back then the game was kind of filled with like a lot of mystery and kind of like wonder for me as a kid. I didn't understand everything about it. And then as I got older and I continued to play the game, I started taking it like, I started treating it as basically a piece of software, because that's what it was. Learning how to build big farms and take advantage of game mechanics and thinking about it as lines of code instead of thinking about it as like an experience or an adventure. That's one of the things that really made me fall in love with it as a kid, and I've never felt like that way since. Just, you know, that's part of being a kid, right? You kind of think fantastically about things. But yeah, all that is to say, I used to consume basically a lot of media when I was a kid about how like people were alive in the game or how the game was real. I used to look for books about Minecraft at the library. I thought it was just the coolest thing ever. And sometimes I wish I was a Minecraft character and that kind of stuff. Maybe one day I'll show off the comic that I wrote. It went unfinished, obviously. All right, so here is the sugarcane concept farm that I kind of came up with. I built this style of farm before. This is a little bit different than that, but I have these lanterns hanging down in every loop. And I think that looks pretty cool. Honestly, I think it's pretty neat. It's kind of different from the other builds that I have. And also my first time building with the moss stone I've been gathering, so pretty happy about it. Now, the sugarcane farm, when it's fully ready to grow everything, it won't be the largest sugarcane farm in history, right? It'll be pretty big. I think one day I would like to build a more serious farm, like just a bigger one. But right now, this is gonna do just fine first, I think. Because like I said, it grows so fast, it's just like not a concern. But there's another thing that I would like to mention to you guys, and it's that a lot of people have asked what mods do I use. I use a few, or asked for like the snow texture pack that I use. And I decided, so many people were asking, that I would make it available to download, as well as list all the individual mods available to download. And this is on my Discord server. So if you want to download my instance, as in I'm using a third-party launcher, Multi-MC, and I'm using a specific instance. If you download that and drag it into Multi-MC, you can have all the alpha mods already pre-installed, ready to go. But if not, I have all the mods listed separately to download alongside the instance, so you can go download all the separate mods, and you can install them at your own discretion. You can put them in the default launcher, whatever you need to do. They should all work pretty well. And yeah, that's in my Discord server. I don't post download links in the description of my videos because I think sometimes YouTube thinks they're suspicious. Like I had a friend of mine who had download links for a tutorial of his that had to do with old Minecraft, and his video kept getting taken down. I think it's because he had those links in his description. So I just want to try to avoid that entirely. Okay, this is how the complete farm turned out, and I think it turned out pretty well. Now we obviously need some more sugarcane, but I am gonna harvest all of this and then plant all of it except for 9. Okay, it should go like this. 1, 2, 3. 3 books. 1 bookshelf. I guess I'll place it right here. I think that's a good spot for it. Look at that. Our very first bookshelf. The very first bookshelf in the entire world. I'm excited. Just because this opens up so many new building opportunities for me. I know it doesn't seem like a lot to be excited about, but if you're an Alpha Snow World player, I definitely think it is. We saw a lot of cool stuff today. You know, I got to relax a little bit, chill out, and just take a break from all the stuff I gotta worry about. I hope that you found some relaxation in this. So thank you for going on an adventure with me. Hope you enjoyed it. If you want to download the mods I use or the instance I use, it's on my Discord server, which is linked in the description. Besides all that, I've been Monster, and have a good night.